Good afternoon and welcome to the 37th Annual University of Windsor Alumni Sports Hall of Fame induction ceremonies and awards presentation. We begin our event today with a land recognition. The University of Windsor sits on the traditional territory of the Three Fires Confederacy of First Nations, which includes the Ojibwa, the Odawa, and the Potawatomi. We respect the long-standing relationships with First Nations people in this place in the 100-mile Windsor-Essex Peninsula and the Straits, Les Détroits, of Detroit. Welcome, everyone. My name is Jim Minello, and I serve as the chair of the Alumni Sports Hall of Fame Executive Committee, and I'm honored today to be here as your host for today's event. The Alumni Sports Hall of Fame induction ceremony is generously sponsored by the University of Windsor Alumni Association. It really is a thrill, and I'm honored to be here to welcome you to our first in-person Alumni Sports Hall of Fame induction since 2019. And before we begin that ceremony, there are a few formalities to take care of. First of all, we're very happy and excited to be celebrating our new inductees in this amazing new Toldo Lancer Centre. It's appropriate for us to also recognize and to thank the University of Windsor students who contributed a groundbreaking $55 million to the construction of this project, which represents the largest student contribution ever given to a university in Canada. So we thank them for their foresight, their generosity. What a wonderful space. It's my pleasure now to invite Dr. Vincent Georgi, Assistant Vice President External, to bring greetings on behalf of President and Vice Chancellor Dr. Robert Gordon, who unfortunately is under the weather today and unable to be with us. Dr. Georgi.
Thanks very much, Jim. Good afternoon, everybody. What do you think? Yes? Good job? Yes? And if there's any recommendations the next time we build the Toldo Lancer Centre, we'll take those under note. But what really strikes me being in this space today is how many ways it would have been impossible to do this project. And the fact that it's here and it's a permanent investment in Lancer athletics and in this region, this community, I think that's something that's really important. And as the University of Windsor continues to scale its leadership role around athletics and around sport, we're very, very happy to have this facility here. So more great memories to be built in this space over the coming many, many years. Very, very happy to welcome the inductees, Jessica, Maya Marie, Richard, Drew, and Megan. Congratulations. It must be, I wouldn't know what this would be like. I, believe it or not, have not been inducted into the Alumni Sports Hall of Fame. I'm sure that's next year. But it must be a moment that out of all the outstanding Lancers we've had from so many different disciplines, that you were selected, that you have not just performed outstandingly, you've ultimately now made a legacy. And that's tremendous. I'm also delighted to see that women's basketball is represented, that golf is represented, that football is represented, and that track and field is represented. The other piece, too, academically speaking, we have not just fantastic athletes, but also scholars. Our recipients today hold degrees in nursing and education and business. They hold undergraduate degrees, they hold master's degrees, and it's really fantastic and speaks a lot about Lancer athletics that we have spectacular athletes and spectacular students at the same time. That's pretty fantastic. And I'd like to acknowledge all of the coaches and training staff that are in the room here. These types of things obviously do not happen accidentally. So please, a very loud, enthusiastic round of applause for all the coaches and the staff that have transformed these athletes, please. And it's a nice return for many of you. I know some of you come from across country, in some cases from across the Atlantic Ocean. That's pretty fantastic. So we look forward to celebrating you today. And I'd also like to offer terrific thanks to Jim and to the whole team from the Alumni Sports Hall of Fame Selection Committee for the effort that you put into highlighting excellence in athletics here at this university. We're very, very proud and very grateful for the work that you've done. We're in a great period of time right now here at the University of Windsor. It's been a challenging past couple of years, as it is for everybody. We'll avoid all those platitudes. But what we've done here at the University of Windsor is we've spent an enormous amount of time doing a lot of internal work, a lot of work on ourselves. We're near the conclusion of developing our new strategic plan for the next 5 years, our Aspire plan, in terms of where we're going, what we're focusing on for the next 5 years, and we'll be done that towards the end of this calendar year, and we're very excited about what engagements and commitments we're making to our students, to our faculty and staff, and certainly the community will come from that. That's been an exciting piece. Obviously, the opening of our $73 million Toldo Lancer Centre, we are absolutely thrilled by. I'd also highlight many of the meaningful and substantial community partnerships we've developed, including, I would actually highlight, I think it's pretty tremendous that we're bringing the Windsor-Essex County Health Unit to campus. Their new facilities will be on our campus as of 2024. I think we've all been through a very, very difficult time the past few years, and to know that WeChew and the University of Windsor will be working in linked arms as of 2024, and they will be on our campus, and thinking of the research opportunities for our faculty and the student experiential learning opportunities and the co-op opportunities that that provides. I think it's pretty fantastic, and more meaningful, tangible, and innovative partnerships to come. I will highlight that WeChew partnership is the first of its kind in Canada. There is no health unit in the country that is on a university campus, and we will be the first, and we're proud of that. And as we've just finished cutting the ribbon on the Toldo Lancer Centre, we can fully expect our Ron Ianni Law School, our Windsor Law School, to be up and running in about a year's time. That construction, believe it or not, is still on time. So we're very, very happy for our new facility around Windsor Law. So lots of good things happening here at the University of Windsor, including a tremendous celebration today of Maya Marie, of Jessica, of Drew, of Richard, and of Megan. Thank you ever so much.
Thank you very much, Vincent. It's also our pleasure to recognize a new campus partner with us today. We're excited to introduce Stephanie White, Director of Athletics and Recreational Services here at the University. Welcome, Stephanie. Please stand. Warm welcome to you, and we look forward to working with you on all things that are Lancer athletics. Also, former Athletics Director Mike Havey is with us this afternoon. And we want to thank Mike for his many years of service to students, athletes, coaches, and the entire University of Windsor community. Mike was instrumental in ushering this project through to completion. Mike, please know that you leave us with our best wishes for a very long, a very happy, and a very healthy retirement. Congratulations. Other guests with us today include past Alumni, Sports Hall of Fame inductees, and Achievement Award winners. It's our pleasure to welcome you to the ceremony today. This event requires much support from many areas and could not happen without our volunteers on the Alumni Sports Hall of Fame Executive Committee. I'm going to name them, and I'd like you to please join me in recognizing this group for their hard work and their dedication. The Honorable Justice Lloyd Dean, Faculty of Law alumnus; Novelette Gordon, teacher and former Lancer athlete; Scott Scandleberry, Public Relations Officer with the Greater Essex County District School Board and an athletics ambassador; Eric Vandenbroek, Associate Athletic Director at the University of Windsor; Helen Vasilik, track and field official and a 2014 inductee into the Alumni Sports Hall of Fame; Bill Wright, former president of the Alumni Association and member of the Board of Governors; and Sheila Wright, former member of the Alumni Board and retired from the Windsor-Essex County District School Board. Please thank me in recognizing and joining them. These members of the Executive Committee are responsible for selecting the nominees submitted by coaches, fans, or members of the community for consideration on the voting ballot. Their nominations are based on objective criteria. The nominees are then elected for induction by a 60-member nominating and selection committee, and they are made up of former inductees, athletes, coaches, and interested members in the community. Individuals and teams chosen for the Achievement Awards are selected by the Executive Committee. Following today's ceremonies, the Alumni Sports Hall of Fame will boast a distinguished membership of 148 inductees. Fantastic achievements by all of them. Our former inductees often return to celebrate with teammates from their years, and at this time I would ask that any past inductees or sport team achievement recipients who are present with us to please stand and be recognized. You will also find the names of all inductees, sport and team achievement recipients on your tables today. As you know, we have not had the opportunity to formally recognize our 2020 and our 2021 inductees in an in-person ceremony. In those 2 years, under the direction of Patty Lozon and her staff at the Alumni Relations Office, those recipients were featured in a professional virtual video presentation. But we also want to announce them today. And if you are here with us, when I call your name, please stand and be recognized. Our 2020 inductees: Matt Butler, Scott Hillman, Noel Montcalm, O.C. Niragu, and our 2021 inductees: Eva Peklova, Kyle Robinson, Tanya Sawyers, Richard Tremaine, and the Sport Achievement Award winner, Jeff May. Congratulations. Thank you for coming. Our presentation this afternoon starts with the induction of an incredible basketball player from the women's basketball team and an amazing student athlete. Jessica Clemençon will be presented by Lancer women's basketball coach Chantal Vallée and assistant Tom Foster.
It's my pleasure to introduce Jessica Clemençon, known as France. Through the 5 years she plays for the Lancers, obviously because she comes from France. And it was an email I received along many other Canadian coaches, an email from Jessica that she sent all across the country that said, hey, I'm looking to be an exchange student, so I may be willing to play for your team. So what I did, we received a lot of those, so I forwarded to my assistant coach at the time, who 2 minutes later knocks on my office doors and says, do you know who she is? And I said, no, I didn't look. Well, she's on the French national team program. She's on the best post in her age category. And I said, how tall? He goes, well, about 6'3". Okay, so 2 minutes later, I was on Skype trying to figure out how I could get a hold of Jess. And of course, I speak French. I let her know about the wonderful Windsor community. And we make arrangements to have Jessica come here. Now, all we said and all we talked about was how wonderful Windsor is, how we want to build a wonderful basketball program. We hadn't won yet, but we were planning to. She might be part of the plan to be there for us. That's the real story. The not real story that everybody else in the country think that happened is that, yeah, coach called Jess and offered her, pocket money, free housing, pay for all of her tuition, cars and private jets. And that is a true story that people think that happened. But Jess just came here and really, really fell in love with the Windsor community. And so a big reason why she stayed for all these years is because of the people that was around her, and we know that. So we couldn't be more grateful for you and for the community for this as well. Jess and I have this in common. I was told when we were first one of our first championship, and I talked to then athletic director Gord Grace here. I thanked him for hiring me, right? And he said, Chantal, don't worry. It's something I never told you. You're here because nobody else had applied. So now, what Jess and I have in common is that she will tell you this, is that Jess is here because she says, and she's been saying this for many years, no one else responded to her email.
Hi, I'm going to use this piece of paper because Chantal told me if I screw this up, I'm going to be running with the team tomorrow, right here. So, Jess was a dominant player right from the very beginning. At the end of her first year, she was a CIS Rookie of the Year. And she could have gone on to win many more All-Canadian awards, even if she just kept those skills. But Jess was not satisfied. Jess, you were determined to be able to score from anywhere. And for 4 years, she expanded her game until it was peaked. Damn it.
Tom, where are the onions? You put some onions?
I got onions. Someone who's got the onions. In the final, her last home game, national championship here in Windsor, Jess displayed the talent that she had and had worked on. Late in the game, Jess got a defensive rebound, kicked it out, hoping we'd get a transition basket. That didn't happen. Maya turns around. Jess is coming down the floor. Jess's opponent has done exactly what she's supposed to do, go to the rim, protect the rim, and wait for Jess, our big, to come down to her. Well, Jess basically said, that's not going to happen. She came down, stopped at the three-point line. Maya throws it to her, and bang! Down it goes. A minute later, Jess did the same thing, again. Well, 2,000 Windsor people get on their feet, and Jess, I don't know if you saw your opponent, she was like, look at the coach and goes, with an expression that basically said, okay, what the hell am I going to do with this now? And the coach never responded because the coach had buried her face in her hands, realizing her fate.
It is really impressive that every year after would, in Jess's career, win the championship, she would go back in the gym. I think it was the next day. You were working out in the gym, shooting, and that's why she was able to shoot the three by the end of her career. So a person that couldn't shoot the three at the beginning or not as well was consistently and went and nailed those 2 threes in the national final. Now, it wouldn't be a real induction, I think, from us coaches, and Jessica expected that. I did ask permission first, but she goes, of course, I knew you were going to roast me. So we have a little roasting story for Jessica here. And the one I chose, and she goes, are you going to talk about this? I said, of course I'm going to talk about this. So we won the first championship here in Windsor in 2011. So in the team room, we have provided the players with cigars and maybe adult beverages. And Jessica, by the time the coaches come back, has lit up her cigar and is, happily smoking the cigar in the team room. Not really listening to anything we say. We're just celebrating, and, the adult beverages are flowing. And Jessica then takes her bottle of champagne, a cigar, and walks into the gym and takes pictures in the middle of the gym at St. Denis Center, which I know, all you guys, you probably didn't know that, and it's probably not a good story to say, but it did happen, and now we can laugh about it. So Jess continues to smoke her cigar all through the facility here, and then gets into the Lancer bus with her cigar and her champagne, gets to the keg with her cigar still lit, and she doesn't listen to anything. In fact, she goes back to France with her cigars and champagne, and decides and proceeds to probably smoke cigars and drink champagne all summer until we see her back in September, still with cigar and champagne. Now there's a problem, because now it's training camp, and it's obvious that Jessica has smoked cigar and drank champagne all summer. So the training test, physical test, does not go well, and Jessica doesn't meet the standards. And so in really good old Coach Valley, Coach Foster fashion at the time, which would never do now, so we recognize that this was the way that, leadership was about 10 years ago. We decided to sanction Jessica, and we find that the best way to do this is to not allow her in the team room until she actually is in shape, which Jessica didn't really appreciate, and we haven't talked since. No, it's just a joke. There was definitely some friction. But basically, the point of this is that Jessica got in shape, accesses the team room. It was probably a 2-month process, so at least a good 6 weeks, and then helped us to win the 2nd, 3rd, 4th national championship. We never had to worry about Jessica's leadership or ability to show up and meet the center and lead the team, and then went on to play pro. And now again we can laugh about it. But this was really the little roasting story about Jess. Jess arrived in Windsor. She was an immediate All-Canadian, academic All-Canadian. When Jess was done, she had won 4 national championships, a silver medal. She had an undergraduate degree in English, a master's of HK. She received a national award for the best female athlete in all CS sports, all sport together. It's our pleasure to present, with our highest level of respect and gratitude, Windsor Lancer, Jess Clemençon, for induction to the University of Windsor Alumni Sports Hall of Fame.
Hi, everyone. It's been 13 years almost to the day since Emily Abbott, Chantal, and Eva picked me up from the airport. It took me 6 time zones and 11 hours to get to a place I would call home for the next 5 years and for the rest of my life. I will always be proud to be an alumni of the University of Windsor. It's been a blessed weekend for me to be given the chance to connect with my former Lancers and friends and to thank the many wonderful people that made this place my home. I am grateful and humbled to be a part of the Hall of Fame of the Lancers. I've always wanted to do my best for the city, the university, and all of the athletic department who helped me to be a part of a national championship team. I would like to thank the University of Windsor Alumni Sports Hall of Fame Selection Committee for choosing me to be here today. I am even happier to be inducted with Maya. I had the chance to see her evolve for 5 full years before she moved on to a European and Olympian career. I'd like to thank Kathy for helping me to stay healthy and for great times around 5-star dinners. Bobby, who helped me to develop a strong mind and body. Tom, for being there and giving a perspective on life that only a veteran Irish-Canadian coach could have. Mike Gibala for helping me to develop my shooting skills and develop a new weapon. Inan for training me in the summer in different countries. Chantal for having made me a relentless person. I mean, after 5 years with her, everyone knows that you cannot take no for an answer. My teammates, of course, for their passion, their support, and determination. Jean and Pat for their friendships. Jess Dixon, my supervisor during my master's. And my parents for the support. The countless sprints along the track, the late night practices, the beep test. I failed it once and quickly learned not to make that mistake again. Our very few losses, those things still help me today to overcome the obstacles that come along my way. My time at the University of Windsor has paved the way of who I am. It might be strange that with a degree in English literature and a master's in sport management, I work in the airplane industry, but in fact it's not. The skills and values I have learned during my time at the U help me every day, whether it is the English language, the written skills from writing a thesis, or the management side of my studies, and of course, hard work and a competitive spirit. Time flies and life gets in the way. I don't have as much time as I would like to catch up with friends and family, but this induction has allowed me to reconnect with my second home, and I'm very grateful for that. Windsor has given me memories and friends for a lifetime. I would have never imagined going for a basketball camp in Prague, spending Christmas in Chacala, Mexico, training in the Israeli desert with a date farmer, picking an apartment for Mike in Paris in case he wins the lottery, or even going for brunch in Monaco with my French-Canadian Emily. Current Lancers, best of luck this season. Enjoy your time. Make the best out of it. 10 years later, I still sweat blue and bleed gold.
Congratulations, Jessica. Thank you so much for making the journey to be with us today. And again, congratulations on the amazing accomplishments on and off the basketball floor. Now, please join me in welcoming John Purcell, former assistant football coach, and he's coming to the stage to induct our second recipient, outstanding football player, Richard Holland. John?
I was just saying to Rich, I guess we have to do this alone. Nobody else is coming up here with us. It's a great honor for me and a pleasure to introduce this next inductee. Rich was born and raised in Windsor. He attended Prince Edward Elementary School and W.D. Lowe Secondary School. At Lowe, he excelled as a multi-sport athlete, playing football, basketball, soccer, and track and field. In the 1981-82 season, the Trojans were city champs in football, basketball, and soccer. Rich played on all three of these teams, as well as, as well as running track. Sound like Tom Foster. He was named to the all-city teams that year in football, basketball, and soccer. And that year, soccer also won the All-Ontario Championship. Rich proved himself to have been one of the best high school athletes in the city, if not the best. Heavy emphasis here on the best. And that's a story for another time. Upon high school graduation, Rich enrolled at the University of Windsor and joined the Lancer football team, where he made an indelible mark on the program. In 1983, as a running back, he was voted the Lancer Rookie of the Year after an outstanding season. In 1984, Rich switched positions and became a defensive back, and I immediately became a much better coach. He was named, I got to find my place here. He was named the Defensive Player of the Year for the Lancers in 1984, 85, and 86. He was also named Special Teams Player of the Year in 1984 for his prowess both as on coverage and as a kick returner. In both 1986 and 87, Rich was named an OUA All-Star as a defensive back, and also in 1987 was named to the CIAU, now U-Sport All-Canadian team. As a defensive back, Rich has 10 career interceptions, including 6 in the 1987 season, and those 6 interceptions still stand as a Lancer record for interceptions in a season. And I think it's important to note that back in '87, there weren't as many opportunities to get interceptions because most teams ran the ball more than they passed. After a playoff loss to the Laurier Golden Hawks in 1987, Rich's Lancer football career came to an end. It's unfortunate I have to mention the Laurier Golden Hawks a few times today because things didn't go too well last night. Upon graduation, Rich began a 30-year career in public service with the Waterloo Regional Police, retiring in 2018. His policing experiences were varied, from working with the emergency tactical team responding to high-risk cases, to dealing with domestic violence investigations, to filling the role of a high school liaison officer, all of which led to him achieving the rank of police sergeant. While working in policing, Rich gave back to the sport of football by coaching at St. David Catholic High School in Waterloo, and he also served as a defensive back coach with the Laurier Golden Hawks for 4 years. Yeah, those same Laurier Golden Hawks. Further to the theme of giving back, Rich and 3 of his Lowe and Lancer teammates, Lloyd Dean, who couldn't be here today, Monty Logan, and Chris Porter, have funded a yearly award given to a black Lancer football player as selected by the head coach of the team. The award is named the W.D. Lowe Lancer Football Alumni, W.D. Lowe and Lancer Football Alumni Scholarship, and is valued at $1,500. And I'm sure the powers that be here would like to see more former student athletes initiate this type of a program. In the past few weeks, I've seen various groups and individuals taking notice of Rick's induction. At a Lowe alumni golf event in September, it was made known to the group the honor that Rich was receiving, and they responded very enthusiastically. I must have to say that it was post-event, and a few beers might have been consumed along the way, but it was pretty enthusiastic. The Facebook group WD Low Reunion, and I'm sure most of you know WD Low closed kind of at the turn of the century, so it is no longer, but it's still in the hearts and minds of a great many people around the city and in this room. The WD Low Reunion Facebook group posted their congratulations, and Rich's wife, Sandy, reposted on Facebook a message from the Laurier Golden Hawks that stated in their congratulations, not only a great player, but an even better person. For me as a former coach, my greatest joy and satisfaction has come from the wonderful people I got to work with and the lasting friendships that have grown from those associations. I could not agree more with the Laurier, sentiment regarding Rich. Great, great player, better person. It's my great pleasure to present Richard Holland for induction in the athlete category into the Alumni Sports Hall of Fame, class of 2022.
All right. Thank you, Coach. I really appreciate what you've done for me for all the years. I played football, not only in high school and in university. Your influence over me over the years has shaped my life in a positive way of being an athlete, a person, and someone who's been able to achieve his goal. 35 years ago, I would not have imagined this day, but here I am, and all I can say is immense gratitude for this induction. I'm thankful for all the people in my life that have positively influenced me to be here. My journey to the University Sports Hall of Fame started well before university, and I have to thank many people that influenced my life. First and foremost were my parents, my mom, Harriet, my father, Bill, and my stepmom, Gail, who are no longer here, but they would have been ecstatic over this moment. And they're looking over us right now. So I remember in grade 10, my stepmom and my dad, they did what I thought was wrong. They prevented me from playing sports in grade 10. Up until then, I played hockey in the winter and baseball in the summer. All the way up, elementary school, played sports, got to high school. Grade 9, I don't know, I think I was just excited for being there and I just played hockey and baseball. But when I got to grade 10, I wanted to play sports. So my mom and dad said, nope, your marks in grade 9 were horrible, right? So they said no, they disciplined me. I didn't think it was right, but, you know, anybody that knows me knows that I'm a motivated person. And when you talk about sports, I love competing. Some people think I compete too much, but I don't. I really don't. I'm just a competitive person. So the following year, my parents said, your marks are up, you're good to go. I was like, oh, thank you. And that's when I played football, basketball, soccer, track. I tried to do everything. And for the next few years. So I started playing football in grade 11, and that's when I learned the game of football. In high school, Coach Purcell. Coach, he was known as the cool coach back then. Still is. I want to thank all the coaches back then because I'm only here because of them and their skill set that they gave me to pass on to university. Jack Penny, Coach Keenan, Coach Paul Zavitz, Coach Mike Verkratzer. We call him Coach V. Thanks for your guidance and teaching me how to play the game of football. I want to thank the late Coach Gino Fracas, who made me feel welcome and influenced my life in a positive way with his enthusiasm, his love of being a motivated, energized person, and assisted me in my policing career later on. I want to acknowledge my coach and longtime friend, John Purcell. who coached, like I said, high school and university. When we finished high school, he came along to university, and I had the best coach going. Coach, teacher, is like a family to me. He encouraged me to enter into the process for this nomination. Coach Berserl had a saying, when you didn't follow your assignments on the field, and I'm probably going to screw it up, but thinking is not your best trait. He'd say, if you say, I thought that person had the ball. So I would never say that. I'd just say, yeah, I messed up. Because I didn't want to get that phrase. It was really so. What the coach was really saying is, it was about the team concept. He was trying to emphasize if we all did our job, we would be successful and achieve our goal. That's why me being here is another example of why my teammates helped me to be here. Without them, I wouldn't be here. Without my coaches, I wouldn't be here. Without my family, I wouldn't be here. And I thank each and every one of them. I want to thank, in my last year, I had John Musselman, who's for 1987. He coached me and was definitely a motivating, gifted coach who knew how to get the team mentally prepared for the games. And I love listening to his pregame speeches because he got you motivated and you're just running out of the room just going ready to go. I just want to also recognize Coach John Poole, who was one of my defensive back coaches. He also was a Laurier grad. My defensive back coach, my defensive back coach, Morgan Clark, Phil Hardigan, Godfrey Janice, who assisted in 1 year, and our support staff, Rick Malott, Jerry Wakowicz, I think it is, Mike Nowitzki, along with Dave Stout, our physiotherapist, who obviously took care of all my injuries. Thank you very much. And I also want to thank Dave Bayshard. He was our statistician. He came on his own. I don't know if he did every sport, but for football, he came, he wrote everything down, and it was easy to come out and give you my stats. In 1987 was the year that we could have been for us, and unfortunately, we had lost one of our leading rushers in the country at that time, and that was Chris Porter. He broke his leg against University of Toronto. We had a 5-2 record that year, and going into the playoffs, but we just fell short to Laurier in the semis. Monty Logan's another friend of mine who was a teammate, who is a lifelong friend through high school and university, and he is presently the president of the Amherstburg Freedom Museum. I just want to thank them for being here. I want to thank the University of Windsor for providing me with the necessary education and life experiences to achieve my career path in policing. I had a very rewarding career that stemmed from my experiences I had as a student of the Windsor Lancer football team. The challenges of football and university life prepared me well to take on the challenges of policing, believe me. I want to thank the University of Windsor Sports Hall of Fame Selection Executive Committee, the selection committee, and the volunteers that put this event on. Really, thank you very much. I want to congratulate the other 4 inductees, Maya Marie, Jessica, Drew, and Megan. I am humble and honored to be inducted into the University Sports Hall of Fame with you. And I want to acknowledge the past inductees. Lastly, I want to thank my family and friends. Thank you for being here in attendance and abroad, and for all your kind well wishes. Thank you. Go Lancers.
Congratulations once again on a wonderful career, and thank you for your service as a peace officer, Richard. Now we invite Coach Valet and Coach Tom Foster to join us once again on stage as we recognize another incredibly talented Lancer women's basketball superstar and student, Maya Marie Langlois. Coaches.
All right, good afternoon again. And before we get started on my off-court accomplishments, let's tell you about one of her off-court accomplishments. We dubbed it the Langlois Law. Want to take it over?
Yeah.
Langlois Law.
The league was really fed up with Maya. She would steal the ball whenever she wanted. She'd just take it from the dribbler. And the coaches were all fed up with Maya. So they went crying to the head of the Referees Association of the OUA. This is true. And they said, there's no way anybody can do that without fouling. So it became so consistent at Maya stealing the ball and them complaining that they actually said, okay, we'll call it a foul. And they came and told us that that's what they were going to do. You were like Wilt Chamberlain. They changed the game because of Maya. That ended at the end of the regular season when the good refs just refused to call it because they were not fouls. And Maya built on that defensive prowess and went on to become 3-time National Defender of the Year.
And just to add to this, there was actually a OUA memo sent to all OUA coaches about that new rule about Maya, that anybody trying to reach would be called foul. So this was a true story. But Maya, she was all about team winning. She really was. And, there's plenty of talent in that woman, but her main concern was always to make her teammate look good. And she did that all the time. Hey, get in that position. I'm going to pass you the ball here so you can score. No, stay there. Let's run that play. She was incredibly minded, of course, as a good point guard quarterback to make everybody else around her look good. But however, there was a time where Maya needed to assert herself. She needed to. And one of these times was against the Laurier Golden Hawks, ladies and gentlemen. They decided to play a zone defense and really swarm in the key because the other one sitting there, Jessica Clemençon, was killing everybody. So they went 5 on Jess, daring the Lancers to shoot the ball. And Maya was like, well, I guess I'm going to have to score today. And she easily dropped 30 points. Nobody noticed. But it was an easy 30. One of those you look at the sheet like, oh my God, Maya just had 30 points. And 10 assists. Oh, and 10 assists. Sorry.
There's another one.
In fact, Maya is to this day the leading assist player of the Windsor Lancers. So congratulations, and was first in the country in assists as well throughout her career. Maya, so leading assists for the Lancers. And you see how we work as a team still again to this day? We all just chip in that talk. That's fantastic. Good job.
But mainly you see how Maya corrected us all the time. All right, in Maya's last game as a Lancer, which again was a national championship game in Windsor, the opponent was the leading scoring team in the country with the leading scorer in the country. And in their semifinal, they had 35 points at half, and their leading scorer had 19. So the brilliant strategy Maya told us was just put me on her. And we did, and that game was over at halftime. That team went on to score a measly 16 points in the first half. Maya's check got nothing. Her other teammates stepped up, shut everybody else down, and I think Sportsnet or somebody was carrying the game. They switched to some hockey game out of Bulgaria. It was not a contest. And that ended the debate about who was the best team in the country, who was the best offensive team in the country, and who was the best defensive team in the country.
Again, it wouldn't be a nice induction unless we had a roasting story, right, Maya? Lots of them. There's lots of them. I had to choose one. And one of the things, Maya graduated with her Bachelor's of Commerce, so she's business-minded, right? In fact, sometimes I'd go into the meeting room, and Maya was there an hour early. You think maybe to strategize for basketball. No, she was writing all her math formulas and all of her, she was studying on her own, and she used a big whiteboard in the meeting room to help herself. So very, very smart into trying to figure out how best to do certain things, such as how can I avoid training camp? Because back in the day, we'd start training camp in August, and so it was a very, very long training camp. We're talking sometimes 8 weeks. So after Maya's first year, where she helped us win a silver medal alongside with Jessica, I decided, she's like, I'm going to quit the team on day 1. I'm just going to tell the coach, in fact, I'm just not going to show up. I'm just going to say, like, because if I calculate this, you know, they're going to panic for a little bit, and then they're probably going to want to talk to me and my mom. Hi, Renee. Remember that time? Yep. You know, and then it's going to take a few weeks, and then by then, you know, all the dry line training is going to be gone, and all the extra running is going to be done, and all the extra cardio is going to be done. So if I come back just the week before the season starts, healthy and in shape, enough to pass all the physical testing, I should just be okay. So that was my second year, and of course, after that, all this time, we then decided, so all the new Lancers at the back here, you should thank Maya. Because the reason why this year and from now we only have a 2 weeks training camp is for that very reason. So Maya would go on to be the starting point guard after graduating here with 4 national championships, the starting point guard for Canada's Olympic team. Maya was the only player on that team that did not attend an American college. With a national championship silver medal, 4 national championship gold medals, 2 University of Windsor Female Athlete of the Year, a University of Windsor Female Student Athlete of the Year, multiple national award, only some were mentioned previously, along with being an academic All-Canadian and a graduate of Commerce in the Audit School of Business, it is our pleasure to present someone that we consider as friend. Windsor Lancer Maya Marie Langlois for induction to the University of Windsor Alumni Sports Hall of Fame.
All right. So, I played basketball for 21 years. Although it's not my identity, it did save my life. It taught me many life lessons. I met many great people, took me around the world several times, but most importantly, it taught me what it means to be a good teammate, partner, daughter, sister, and businesswoman. I played on many teams, but nothing has ever come close to how special my teammates were from Windsor. One of the main reasons is because we held each other accountable to greatness, and that's because we saw that in each other. And that wasn't measured by talent, but by respect, courage, and trust. And all that came in different forms, like the time my teammate switched her shoes for mine so I can play in the game because my shoelaces broke during warm-up, and she had to sit on the bench. Or paying the bouncer $20 so the underage me could get into my first bar with my teammates. And I know even now, whether they're in France or the Czech Republic, if I ever called anyone, they would be there regardless of the time or place, and that's special. Well, as you guys know, the team does include the coaches. And without the coaches I had, I wouldn't be standing here today. And this is beyond skill development, but from the simple act of kindness to provide access and opportunity. And in my case, it was being driven to practice while my mom was working, or never letting finances be the reason why I'm not playing. So thank you, Paul Levac and Pat Smith. I had many trainers, and that's because it takes a lot to become an Olympian. Bobby taught me how to squat. Mike taught me how to be professional while partying like a rock star. Enon sharpened my mental abilities, and Tom, how to keep the game simple. Stephanie, the new AD, she's smart. Yesterday, she said, a successful program requires a community, and the Windsor community has always showed up. From when my house burned down and people got together to help us out, to filling up the stands at every single home game. The community has watched me grow up, and it continues to support my family and I. Looking back, every time I stepped on the court, whether it was a regular season game or I was playing at the World Championships in Spain, I knew I was playing for something greater than just me, but it was also for the city of Windsor. So thank you very much. Chantel, yes, you have turned from a coach to a friend, And no, this is not an April Fool's joke. And it wasn't love at first sight, but you believed in me when no one else did. I wasn't recruited much, and I had to win 4 national championships for Team Canada to even notice me. You saw this in me since day one, so thank you for seeing the shining light, shining star that I am, and providing me the environment to bloom. Mother and grandmother, my strength and force of nature is rooted through you. I stand strong and tall because you showed me how to, and I speak my voice because you told me it matters. Thank you for being the woman I want to be. Lastly, future women Lancers and Hall of Famers, hold each other accountable to greatness because that is what you are. You're all strong young women with a voice that does matter. Your impact on each other and the community is beyond basketball, so nurture and cherish it. As my mother would always tell me, don't forget to always be good, be cool, and smile. So thank you, everyone that came and made this weekend special. And especially thank you to this table full of women who had made a difference in my life and making me a better person. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much, Maya, and congratulations once again, and thank you very much for the many years of wonderful basketball that you provided here along with Jessica and your other teammates. I'm pleased now to welcome Lancer track and field coach Colin Inglis to induct Lancer athlete Drew McCauley. Colin?
Good afternoon, everyone. It's my honor and privilege today to introduce Drew McCauley for induction to the University of Windsor Sports Hall of Fame in the category of athlete. It was September of 1994 that Drew arrived at the university from his longtime home in Goderich, where he competed in soccer, minor hockey, and ran school cross country. Out of all the sports that Drew was involved in, running was where he was a step or two ahead of his competitors. And he decided at that point to focus on his running. It was later that summer, in 1994, the Canadian Junior Track and Field Championships in Ottawa, that Drew had his first big success as a runner. Gee, I've got the same bug as Tom and... So he finished 5th in the 5,000 meters at the Canadian Junior Track and Field Championships and decided to push and continue with his running at that point and to make the leap in faith and join the University of Windsor Lancers. Drew at that point knew that head coach Dennis Farrell had the men's cross-country team that's emerging as one of the strongest programs in the country and was intrigued at that point to see where his running could go if he joined the program. And it was that first year where the young rookie from Goderich came to the University of Windsor. Besides finding the season very overwhelming, a lot of training, lots of competitions, training with an incredibly talented team, the practices were very competitive, and watching his teammates that October win their first ever OUAA cross-country championships over Western by 1 point and finishing second at the CIAU championships by 2 points behind Victoria. The seed at that point was planted for Drew for the future and what was going to come. As history will later tell us, this was the beginning of a cross-country dynasty here at the University of Windsor, with this talented team winning 4 more OUA cross-country championships, 2 consecutive second-place finishes at the CIAU cross-country championships, and a third-place finish, all of which Drew was part of. Drew mentioned to me that the student experience here was something that he cherished as his time here as a Lancer. Traveling across the border in his first year of track and field, racing in places like Notre Dame, Eastern Michigan, Montreal, to name a few, created many fond memories for him. It was the 1995 OUAA championships that Drew was one of the 3 men selected to run the 1,500 meters, and he finished 7th. Drew scored 2 points and contributed to the team point total and got at that point the sense of belonging to the team. And scoring those crucial points in 7th place As Dennis would always say, and he stressed, these were important for team success. Needless to say, the men's team came home with the OUA championship that year. A true team player, Drew fondly remembers the 1997 OUAA cross-country championships in Windsor, when the men's team won with a strong showing. When he finished third individually, 2021, Hall of Fame inductee Rich Tremaine was second, Mark Kitely was fifth, Reese Trenhill was sixth, and Omar Hafez was 11th. We all know Dennis never liked to be upstaged, and Dennis wanted to create something special. So he asked Drew's dad, who's here today, to play the bagpipes during the men's and women's races. Well, let's just say that celebration continued that night with the bagpipes being played at Faces on College. Now, I think that is a night that we'd all like to remember. Dennis always stressed team as a concept, and it was all about making personal sacrifices. Well, at the 1997 OUA Track and Field Championship in Toronto, Drew was comfortably in second place in the 1,500 meters, and he'd already hit automatic qualifying time. And for those that know, if you finished in the top two at the championship, you earn a berth to go to the Nationals. So Dennis was frantically yelling at Drew, who was comfortably in second place, because his teammate Reese Trenhill was behind in third spot. Reese didn't have standard, he hadn't yet qualified to go, but Dennis wanted another individual to go to the national championships. To this day, we still do not know if Drew slowed down too much in that race or if Reese happened to find another gear to finish in second spot. I'm not sure if we can find in our offices somewhere the tapes and VHS that will show us proof of that. It was the fall of 1988 that Drew, along with two other recruits, were key members of the first ever Lancer CIAU Men's Cross Country Championship, and after so many years of being on the podium, but were never on the top step. Drew mentioned he has so many fond memories of his time as being a Lancer, winning 4 OUAA championships, finishing second at 5 straight CIU championships in track and field, competing in the St. Denis Centre at the 1997 and 1998 CIU track and field championships in the 1,500 and scoring in the 1,500 meters as well. His greatest success came in the 1999 CIU championship, where he ran 3 races, capturing gold as a member of the 4x800 meter relay, a silver in the 1,000 meters, and a 5th place finish in the 1,500 meters. At that time, that championship was a 2-day competition, not like today when it's held over 3 days. An amazing accomplishment. Upon graduation, Drew was the school record holder in the indoor mile, ranked second in the 1,000 meters, and was a top ranked 10 at Lancer in the 800 meters, 1,500 meters, and 3,000. Some people may know that Drew was one of the organizers and founding members of the Dennis Farrell Grey Hairs and the Dennis Farrell Retirement Party men's running relay team that competed 3 times in the Cabot Trail Relay. This is a 24-hour relay that happens over 276 kilometers. It consists of 17 stages and up to 70 teams and 1,200 runners. The teams consisted of Lancer cross-country track and field alumni, and rest assured the teams, Drew said, competed like they had when they wore their Lancer singlets, as they were fun, enthusiastic, and competitive. After this team won their first Cabot Trail relay, they called Dennis in the evening, and their pride of winning under the Lancer brand has never been lost on Drew or any of his teammates to this day. Very few people know, outside of the cross-country team, that since 2002, Drew has graciously hosted our cross-country team at a training camp in Goderich. So there's not a Lancer from 1994 on our cross-country team that does not know Drew when you go back and date. Even a few weeks ago, when our cross-country team switched locations, went to Southampton, on the way back on the Sunday, the team stopped in Goderich, and Drew provided them with a lunch. A special gesture that's much appreciated by the team. It is my pleasure to present Drew McCauley for induction into the University of Windsor Sports Hall of Fame.
Thank you, Colin. Thank you so much for those nice words of introduction. And a second thank you to the entire organizing committee today. That's been mentioned, but I've been emailing back and forth with Catherine Simon, but I know there's a lot of other people. Thank you very much. This event, I'm sure it's a tough event to get going, but it looks like it's been run so effortlessly. And so thank you very much. And a big congratulations as well to the other 4 recipients today, Jessica, Maya Marie, Megan, and Richard. It's an honor for me to share the stage with you 4 today. Today is another very special day that I've had as an athlete, as a student athlete at the University of Windsor. I've had many. Colin mentioned them, and I can tell you there are many more. I'm very fortunate to have had the career that I had, but more fortunate that I've been able to stay connected all these years to cross country and track and field athletics. It's not lost on me, though, that I did have twice as many opportunities as a Lancer than most student athletes here who participate in one sport. I competed in cross country and track and field. Not to split hairs, but they are kind of 2 different sports almost entirely. So I got twice as many opportunities at provincial titles and as going to national championships. So to finish my career as part of 9 provincial championship winning teams and 5 straight in cross country is totally amazing, and I'm very thankful for that. And we talked about the first win. It was in Kingston, and that was very special. Our last win was in Windsor in 1999, and 1998. And that team, our last team, we were a bit banged up a bit with injuries, but we always found a way. With provincial championships, Lancer cross country, we always found a way to win. We had a big emphasis on quantity and quality at our practices. Routinely, we'd have over 20 guys out at practice in 3 different groups doing different intervals of varying lengths and distances to accommodate all the different kind of runners, that their strengths and weaknesses that we had. I'm here with a lot of teammates today, and I'm here with very special teammates from 40 years ago in minor hockey. They came. My minor hockey teammates are here, the Garb and Gear novice team. Some of them are here. And my oldest teammates, Phil and Steve, my Masters runners teammates are here today. So I've got, thank you for coming. But in between that, so many teammates stand out at me as being influential. While I was here, the guys and girls team traveled and trained simultaneously. The girls on the team, Missy McCleary, Michelle King, and Tina Rosnick stand out at me as being very special people along the way. Tina's got a great story of, after one of the Faces nights, driving our coach's van home because he wasn't driving, we'll just say that, and she parked his van in the wrong driveway, and Janet knows about that, and that was there's lots of other fun times, but that was certainly memorable when that happened. A lot of guy teammates stand out at me. There's just so many over the years, but 2 aren't here today. Reese and Mark, who we started together in first year together, and we finished in 5th year together. So it was very special talking to them. Talked to Reese yesterday and Mark yesterday, and so they stand out as being just total gamers and all-stars and really strong cross-country runners and track and field athletes. The other important teammate is here. Andy Hahn is here today, and Andy came to Windsor, and he instantly made an impression on me with his running exploits and his ability to be an all-around great guy. And so I'm glad we've maintained our relationship, Andy, over all these years, and I'm sure we've got lots of good years left in us. If we're not running, but we might do something else, maybe something less than running. So being on the track and field team was very rewarding as well, and the expectations were always very high as a Lancer athlete, that generally, like, anybody who competed on our team was good. Like, nobody wasn't really that good. So that's not lost on me, that I was always around really good, talented people and really good people. I don't know what happened, Colin, the one year that we didn't win the Ontario Championships. You didn't mention, I don't know if that was your first year here or not, but we got 4 out of 5, and but I don't know what happened that year, but it's forgettable. But track and field was always very memorable because of the training camps we went on. And we got to go to Puerto Rico for training camps. Maybe, Chantel, that's what you have to do. We got to go to Puerto Rico, and somehow, some way, we always got about 80 Lancers down across the border from the Detroit airport to the Albergue Olympico training facility. And it would always be a mix of training and fun times, and those were very memorable moments of mine. Orchestrating all of this cross-country and track and field business was the legendary coach Dennis Farrell, and he was my coach exclusively for the entire time I was at Windsor. I'm extremely thankful for his guidance and support over the 5 years. One of his secrets, although it's probably no secret, is he kept many great managers and trainers and assistant coaches around him. And Dennis had a way of getting the very best out of his athletes, and his athletes always wanted to give him their very best as well. And all of what I accomplished is directly attributed to Dennis and his leadership style. He certainly gets the lion's share of credit for my accomplishments, and he is missed, but he is not forgotten. And the other thing Dennis always used to do is when he was driving, he always used to pretend that he was in a sulky because he was a horse person as well. And he'd always pretend he was whipping something, going through a toll or something, Janet, or passing someone, and he was always doing that. I won't forget that. Lastly, for over 5 years, I lived with 3 great roommates, and roommates were very important during that time, and 2 of them are here today, so I thank Drew and Scott for coming. The roommates are like another good teammate, and we had lots of great moments together. Halloweens and semi-formals, we would always dress up. We always dressed up in totally different attire, though. But it was fun getting dressed up and going to fancy places with you guys and having fun times with you guys. One funny moment was after one of our cross-country wins, we kept the banner at our house for probably, too long. And we didn't exactly hide it, though. It's 8 feet, and it's 8 feet long and 3 feet wide, and we put it in our window of our house. And Dennis told us to get that thing back to the St. Denis Centre, and needless to say, we brought it back, and it's probably still hanging out there today. So thank you to Drew and Scott for making my living here just so memorable, and we'll celebrate with Tim soon enough. Rich Tremaine was a great teammate, coach, and a very dear friend of mine. He has everything to do with me being up here today as much as Dennis, but certainly Rich Tremaine. And he was a huge influence on my career here as a Lancer. I think one of his finest moments was when I witnessed him my very first OUA cross country kicking down the Jamie Black from Western, but Rich was instrumental in coaching us as well during cross country. And the men's team, when we won our very first national championship, Rich was there with us after being an athlete here, and he stayed on to help coach, and he actually started the training camp kind of idea that they still do now. So thank you very much, Rich Tremaine, for the that's it. It's been 28 years since I started in Windsor. And if I had to do it all over again, I can honestly say that I wouldn't change one thing. My kids and my wife are here today, my parents and their spouses, and my sister's here today. And thank you very much for coming and making this very meaningful. I would just say to my kids, when you start something, finish it. Listen to your coaches, your teachers, and your parents. Do something that you love and are passionate about, and find great friends like I have and keep them very close. And my wife Shelley's here as well, and of course, thank you for, she also helps with the training camps and has to listen to all my stories and all that stuff. Thank you again, everyone. I am very humbled by this recognition, but I'm very proud to be a member of the 2022 University of Windsor Hall of Fame class.
Congratulations, Drew, on being another wonderful addition to the Hall of Fame and to Lancer track history. And now to present our final inductee today, please welcome University of Windsor Associate Athletic Director Eric Vandenbroek to present Megan Patashnik-Wadham with induction into the Alumni Sports Hall of Fame.
Thanks, Jim. This is a tough act to follow and go last, but I'm confident we're up to the task. Again, my name's Eric Vandenbroek, and it's my honor today to introduce Megan Patashnik-Wadham for induction into the University of Windsor Alumni Sports Hall of Fame. Having worked in the athletic department throughout her university career, I can tell you firsthand that Megan was the first true women's golf superstar to ever play at the University of Windsor. After having been out of the sport of golf for a few years, our athletic department brought back varsity golf to our Lancer Athletics program in 2010. Megan, already a student at the University of Windsor at the time, and a decorated amateur player in Ontario, joined our golf team in our first season back in OU8 competition in 2010. She would play for the Lancers for 3 years, served as one of our team captains, and was unquestionably the face of Lancer golf at the University of Windsor. Throughout her Ontario University athletics career, Megan was a 2-time OUA first-team All-Star, and she became the first Lancer woman in school history to capture the OUA Women's Golf Individual Provincial Championship. Megan won the Ontario Provincial Individual title in both 2011 and 2012, cementing herself as one of the finest women's golfers in Ontario University history. In 2012, she also represented the University of Windsor at the Canadian University and College Golf Championship in Victoria, British Columbia, where she finished an impressive 10th overall amongst a field of the best collegiate golfers in Canada. Even more impressively, Megan was also a tremendous student. She captured the prestigious DeMarco Award in her senior season in 2012-13 as the outstanding female student athlete who best combined academic and athletic excellence. A native of Stratford, Ontario, she graduated in 2013 with an honors Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Today, Megan lives with her husband, Matt, and their 2 beagles, Simon and Boomer, in Alberta. She works as a nurse in the emergency department of the University of Alberta Hospital and has been a frontline worker throughout the COVID pandemic. How about a round of applause for our nurses? Throughout her time as a Lancer, Megan was the epitome of what a student athlete should be, as she excelled in both academics and athletics. She was respected across the province for her outstanding play on the links, and her groundbreaking achievements at the University of Windsor in women's golf have helped to pave the way for future and current women's golf student athletes, including our 2019 women's golf team, which won their first ever OUA team championship. I am extremely proud of Megan and the significant impact she made during her time here at the University of Windsor. She will always be a big part of our Lancer family. Please help me welcome Megan Patashnik-Wadham as our newest inductee into the University of Windsor Alumni Sports Hall of Fame.
Thank you, Eric.
I am so honored to be standing here today. I also want to congratulate my fellow inductees who have proven to be tremendous and talented athletes. An accomplishment like this isn't achieved alone or in isolation. It's the people around you, supporting you, that enables one to achieve these goals. I have been so lucky to have so many people in my corner. My parents, Ralph and Jean, introduced me to the game of golf at a really early age. I'm pretty sure they had me still in diapers on the golf range hitting balls. They supported me many, many years, spending entire summers driving me around to all my events, my tournaments, practice rounds, and lessons. I cannot thank you enough for supporting me. I would definitely not be the woman I am today, and I would not be standing here today if it weren't for you. I thank all of my golf coaches who have helped me over the years, my coaches here in Windsor, Ryan and Kenny, and my teammates. My teammates were my biggest support system. We shared ups and downs together, many, many hours practicing together, and our long road trips soon turned into team bonding nights over a beer or two, or 5. I truly couldn't have done this without them. When I was first debating about trying out for the university golf team, I had convinced myself there was just no way I could balance being a nursing student and a varsity athlete. Between full days of clinicals, classes, and labs, I knew I couldn't put 100% into anything else. One day I received an email from one of my professors saying something along the lines of, "You have to do this. There's no question about it. We will be here to help you along the way." With a class of over 100 students, I honestly didn't even think she knew who I was, let alone care about who was trying out for the golf team. This was kind of a turning point for me. Without that conversation, I would not be standing where I am right now. Thank you, Professor Deas. A big thank you to my lifelong friends and university roommates, Amber and Anna, who are both here. These two have gone through hoops with me through my golf journey. The night before every golf tournament, my pre-tournament routine would include watching Caddyshack from start to finish. And every time Anna would come, she'd sit beside me and not say a single word. She just knew this is something I had to do. I swear we probably watched that movie at least 10 times every golf season. I want to thank my husband, Matt, for sharing my love for the game. Our golf season is very short in Alberta, but we make the most of it. At the University of Windsor, we are so lucky to have an amazing and dedicated Associate Athletic Director, Eric Vandenbroek. Eric, thank you for all the help over the years. I will never forget making the trek to your office to get fresh Windsor gear, talk about golf, and you always had my travel plans organized and ready to go. You have always been so supportive of me and made me so proud to call myself a Lancer. Thank you. Finally, I would like to thank the University of Windsor Alumni Sports Hall of Fame Selection Committee. My induction into the Windsor Hall of Fame is an incredible honor, and I will cherish this forever. Thank you.
Congratulations, Meg. Don't be surprised if you get stopped on the way out for swing tips by a number of us. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our induction ceremony for the 2022 Alumni Sports Hall of Fame. Once again, congratulations to all of our inductees. Through your hard work and dedication to your sport and to your studies, you bring honor and pride to the University of Windsor, and you serve as a great source of inspiration for our current athletes, our alumni, and our students. Thank you very much. At this time, I'd like to acknowledge with great appreciation the Alumni Association Board of Directors for hosting and sponsoring this distinguished awards program. This event would not be possible without their generous support. A friendly reminder that we currently have our Take a Seat campaign going. It's underway, which allows Lancer alumni, fans, and supporters the unique opportunity to name a seat right here in the Toldo Lancer Centre in the Triple Gymnasium. This is the perfect way to celebrate your commitment to UWindsor with a gift that will strengthen and support the ties between our fans, our students, the alumni, the community, and all of our athletes. Please visit our website to name your seat or phone our advancement department for more information. And a special thank you to our alumni relations team under the leadership of our director, Patty Lozon, along with Catherine Simon, Rob Janice, Nancy McMahon, and Gada Guarni, and the many volunteers that we have with us today who have put in many hours to bring this event together. Please join me in thanking them. We also need to thank the wonderful catering staff here at the university and our technical staff from the Public Affairs and Communications team who are on site today as well. Your contributions have helped to make this event a great success. And finally, I invite all of our honored guests, alumni, and friends to stay, reminisce, enjoy each other's friendship, share stories by joining us upstairs to enjoy some light food and refreshments. Thank you very much.